right. Why are you guys here?
Well, we're here because, you know, there's been, well, first of all, who are we? Well, we're a socialist alternative. We see this society, you know, capitalism as a system of economics that allows, you know, a tiny minority of people to make all the decisions about what's produced and where it goes and who gets it, and it's all done for the sake of profits. We think that within the way that the system is, that everything is created, that we have the ability to tell them that we don't need those profits and that we can do all the production and make all the wealth in society on a democratic basis. And so where that begins for us is unions and organizing, you know, strong democratic unions, and also building off of the democratic example that exists here. And so one of the things that we're trying to do, one of the things we're arguing for here is that, you know, Occupy Boston, all the occupation movement should take up some basic demands like jobs, not cuts, no, you know, free education for all, basic things like that in order to interact with the rest of the community at large and movements that are going on.
What have been the highlights so far of Occupy Boston?
I think,
in your opinion,
I think it's the spirit of fighting back against the system. I'm not sure there's been for me at least, there hasn't been like one specific thing that's been the highlight. It's been it's been the spirit here and the openness to think about new ideas. To you know, this occupation is a symbol of all the pent-up anger that that's been accumulating in the last 30 years since there were movements in the past. Mm-hmm. And to me, that's the biggest part about it.
Now, there have been some talk that President Obama and Nancy Pelosi and others in the Democratic establishment are coming behind this movement. What would you say to that?
Well, I would say that, you know, that if they do come here, that the people in these movements should beware, because those people don't represent and will not represent the hopes and dreams and the interests of the people who are coming out here, not just occupying, but who are coming to check it out and who really see this as a symbol of struggle. Obama and Pelosi and the Democratic Party, along with the Republican Party, are firmly in the camp of the corporations. Their campaigns are entirely funded. The laws that they pass are written by corporations, and them coming here will just be an attempt to buy off this movement, an attempt to derail it, and we should fight against it. And I think that one of the ways that we should do it is we should challenge them on the electoral arena by running independent candidates that don't take money from corporations and are accountable to movements like this.
Okay, one final question. Is there anything I didn't ask that you would like to add?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think it's I mean, I would just encourage anybody who sees this to come down and check it out for themselves, no matter how much they think they agree or disagree, and talk to the people who are here, because it's a really energizing and enlightening experience. Oh,
one last question I just thought of. Where can we find out more about your group?
You can find us, we're at socialistalternative.org. You can also find us on Facebook, Boston Socialist Alternative. We got a page there. Yep, and our international organization is Committee for Workers International, which is at socialistworld.net. But come down here and talk to us here as well.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, why are you here at Occupy Boston?
Well, I'm homeless. I also advocate for other homeless, and I'm also a strong advocate of social media and everybody coming together. I think this is a great example of the power. A lot of people talking about endgame, but I think the endgame is right here. Just the fact that this has been able to spread through other alternative media channels and get out. And this is also a great message for the people in my situation, because we're seeing everybody come back onto our own level here and come together for the same, you know, it's always a us or them mentality on the street, and finally we feel that there's a lot more of us, so we're here to show our support with everybody and march with the students today and the labor unions.
Can I ask what are some of the highlights you found at Occupy Boston?
Honestly, humanity. They have been taking care of my friends that have been coming down here that are hungry. They've been taking care of each other. I think a lot of people don't realize is we take care of ourselves. You know, I dress pretty good, and just because I get this from other people on the streets where they come up with something, and we go out of our way to help each other every day. And this is something that I think, Middle America just forgets to go out and help a person. Sometimes you can't always run out to help the people. You help a person, and then you help another person, and then you're adding it up. And I've been seeing a lot of this going down over here over the last couple of weeks. People are feeding each other, clothing each other, whether they're homeless or not. And quite frankly, you can't even tell who is or isn't.
Where do you think the movement should go from here?
I'll be perfectly honest with you. I'm not the political guy or the numbers crunching guy. I'm not sure where it can go from here, but I think what it's already accomplished is that, again, we can unify on a global level, basically without their help. You know what I mean? Without the traditional media's help. So we have to be heard. We can't just be disregarded. They can't just, there's 800 cities involved now. You can't just shut it down and say, okay, that's it, get them out of there. So as far as I'm concerned, I think something great has already been accomplished. What else comes from this? I don't know. People will definitely pay attention. But like I said, I mean, what's already happened here on a global level, I think is already an amazing, tremendous accomplishment.
One last question. Is there anything you'd like to add that I did not ask?
Yes, two things. It's getting cold outside. If you have an extra jacket, which most people do, find somebody on the street and give it to them. Because it's cold out and people are just trying to survive. And whether you realize it or not, it really can be you. Because I, too, had stereotypes of homelessness until I found myself homeless. And I'm next to somebody, I'm sharing a bunk bed in a shelter with a man with 2 master's degrees or someone who has a PhD in molecular biology. You don't know where life's going to take you. So take care of each other.
Okay. Thank you for talking to me.
Thanks, man.
All right. Why are you here at Occupy Boston?
I came down on day one. I think we have a problem. That's why everybody came down here. There's a serious problem within our government. It's been usurped by corporate money and the big banks. The top 1% of the earners are using their wealth and influence to make policy in our government, and usually that policy is anti-people, anti-worker. It's not good for the other 99%. And I've been frustrated for well over a year now. And you're sitting at home and you can only blog about it and watch TV so much and be angry all the time and frustrated. Where finally you feel you can do something and contribute and come out and hit the streets and just to shine a light on what's going on and try to wake up more people that we need to get involved and need to take back our democratic process.
So what have been the highlights, you would say, of your time at Occupy Boston?
The main highlight has been, for the first time in 37 years, I've been down here and involved in a real democratic process, one that's not tainted by money, one that's not tainted by power. It's been actually a real democracy down here. In our General Assemblies, my vote counts and my voice is heard. And that's been real important to keeping me down here.
Okay, have you been following events overseas in Occupy Wall Street, I take it?
I was just able to catch up last night, and this is nationwide, major cities across the nation and across the world, and we take our cue from them, they've taken their cue from us, and people are fed up, people have had it, and they need to be heard. These voices need to be heard.
Now, I see by your that you're iron workers, union iron worker, occupier, cool.
Absolutely.
So how has your union been in support? Has they come out in support of this occupation?
Absolutely. I was actually elected to be a labor delegate in a fair democratic process, and I've been the liaison with a lot of the local unions and labor organizations. The outpouring of support, both like logistical and moral and emotional, has been overwhelming. This is a pro-union movement down here. Anything that's come in front of the General Assembly involving organized labor has been passed with more than enough votes, and we're working together to accomplish something.
Now, two questions more. Where do you think the movement should go from here?
The movement from here, it should go to more of the public. I think more of the public still needs to be made aware. You know, some people are waking up just now and realizing that something is seriously wrong in America and in the world. And it's become, you know, the solutions, they're all, you get a lot of different solutions down here. I think the first thing is addressing the problems and getting the money out of government. I think that would be the first step, is restoring the democratic process to the United States government is one of the most important things we need to do. Without that, we can't move forward. So I think that, you know, things towards that goal is what we need to work towards.
And is there anything I didn't ask that you'd like to add?
No, that we're down here at Occupy Boston. We've built our own self-sustaining community, and we're not going anywhere. We have no intention of leaving and giving up this ground.
Beautiful. Thanks for talking to me.
Thank you.
I'm here because, above all else, I'm a public school teacher, and the future is looking pretty grim, and I couldn't look my students in the eye and know that they were facing things like overwhelming student debt and unemployment and a political system where they have no voice, and not know that I did everything I could to improve it for them.
So how many times have you been to Occupy Boston?
I've been here most nights after work for the past week, and I was last weekend at Occupy Wall Street in New York, but I think this is my 6th time here.
So is there anything you'd like to say about what's been going on at Occupy Wall Street?
It's very similar to what's going on here. I think that it's the most diverse group of people peacefully coexisting and having rational discussion and hearing each other's voices, and it's inspiring to see what can happen when people come together.
So what do you think have been some of the highlights here at Occupy Boston for you personally?
Seeing how successfully the General Assembly's run, seeing how organized everything is. There's the fact that the homeless population is here and that we're feeding them and giving them clothes and giving them a chance to have their voices heard and incorporating them into this community. Saturday, we ended a march by doing a sit-in in front of the Federal Reserve, and during that time we decided, let's be useful, and we had a General Assembly and we talked about solutions, and it was very organized, it was very orderly, everybody had their voices heard, and just we're being described as a rabble of unwashed hippies, and we're really not.
So where do you think the movement should go from here?
I think it should continue as is. I know it's difficult for it to continue as the weather gets colder, but I think that most of these people aren't going anywhere, and I think our job is going to be to just continue to raise hell and let the world know that our voices are going to be heard.
Now, is there anything I didn't ask that you'd like to add?
Just that I think this is the beginning, and maybe there's not a clear message right now, but that's a wonderful thing, because there's no one problem, there's no one answer, there's no one solution, and this is the beginning of a dialogue that hopefully will continue for quite a while.
Thanks for talking to me.
Thanks.